So I guess the first question is, so could you tell us a little bit about the moment that you left the hospital? What was going through your mind after all this time?
Oh, I'd been there for so long. It was relief. I was excited to be home. I'm excited to go back to my day to day, hanging out with her, and getting to see my friends not at the hospital. Because I had a lot of people visit and say hi, and that was great, and I loved seeing them. But I'd love to be out of there and be with people and be at home. Oh, it was freaking awesome. I hadn't met most of those people, and they just showed up, and they all said hi, and they're all super nice, and the motorcycles were cool. That's for sure.
It's incredibly overwhelming to see
Yeah.
how the community came together to bring him home,
Super
and really
overwhelming.
show awareness to what can happen when we aren't paying attention,
Yeah.
and that bikes are harder to see, and that we need to look more when we're out on the road, and making sure that we are sharing the road with everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
And going back to April 4th, what do you remember about the accident itself? Is there anything you can recall?
No, it's blank. I don't remember the day before. I couldn't tell you a thing about the day. Actually, I can tell you one thing. I asked her about a whiteboard, I guess. She reminded me. She was like, "You asked me about a whiteboard the day of your accident." I was like, "I do remember asking you about the whiteboard. That's it." That's all I remember.
This is very much a miracle. When we got the initial call, the way that it was stated to us, we thought we were coming to say goodbye. And he was lucky in so many ways to have so many things fall into place. With the off-duty police officer who was there and witnessed the accident, the officer who showed up like minutes after it happened, and then the EMTs responding as quickly as they did and getting him over to Brian Trauma Unit and taking over. He is a miracle. Statistically, recovering this well and this fast from such a major TBI is literally a miracle.
Can you tell us exactly all the things that happened to,
Yeah.
hold on just a second. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. He basically shattered his face. So he has plates across both cheeks. He's got a plate up here on his forehead. They had to remove a sinus cavity up here. They did reconstruction of his nose. They had to do some stuff with his eyes just to make sure everything stayed where it's supposed to be. He broke his arm severely up in the ball. He broke multiple ribs. He broke his sternum. Let's see, am I forgetting anything else? He coded at the scene. Just all the things, the procedures that he went through to even just get out of the ICU was a lot as
Did
well.
you say how long he coded?
No, I did not get that information.
Get that information.
No.
And then how much more, what about the recovery?
So TBIs typically take about a year to fully to get to the point where you're gonna find your new normal. And so he's still got a road. He still has outpatient therapies to go to, and then just figuring out how to get back into the world. He's a full-time student, and he works, so easing back into all of that as well.
Yeah.
So, John, I saw you talking about all the bikes, and even up here with us, you were talking about all that. Amelia, I saw her come in a bike. So, where did this passion come from both of you guys?
It came from my family, probably. My dad used to ride a bike when I was younger. My mom used to ride a bike. My stepdad rides a bike. It just kind of came to me. It felt kind of obvious. I was like, oh yeah, I should get a motorcycle. This is going to be great. And then I rode for about 2 years before I got in the accident. And, that 2 years was great. I loved that motorcycle. Yeah.
And so does this experience at all change your aspect about how you look at motorcycles?
Oh, absolutely. I probably won't be on another motorcycle just because another accident would just, that would just be horrible. It didn't really change my perspective necessarily. Like for other people, like they can do whatever they want. You know, it's them. But
They're still cool.
right, exactly. Motorcycles are still awesome as far as I'm concerned. I'm just not gonna hop back on one.
And how about you? You seem fantastic. I mean, you know what I mean? You're catching everything. You know, there's no delay or anything like that. Your wit's there and everything. I mean, is there anything that you're still working through at all?
What?
Memory.
Yeah, my memory is pretty bad right now. They'll tell me things occasionally, and I'll just forget instantly. A lot of it's a lot of short-term stuff. Stuff just doesn't stick around. It's okay though. It's definitely been getting better. From like last week to right now, the memory is way better.
And
That
that's
could come in handy. You know?
Yeah.
that's pretty common with
Yeah.
the TBI in the frontal lobe to have short-term memory loss. So
And what are you studying?
I'm studying computer science.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No kidding. How much longer do you have to go?
Well, I did have 2 years left, but now I have to redo this semester, so it's going to be more like 3 years left.
And what do you study?
I study at UNM.
And, you know, you were wearing a helmet, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And stuff like that. I mean, you know, what do you have? What kind of feelings do you have for that person that hit you? I mean, are you still working through that?
No, I'm not like mad at her or anything. I definitely have some feelings about like, she said that she saw me, and then didn't see me all of a sudden, and still chose to make the turn. So, you know, that kind of made me a little mad, but I'm not gonna hold a grudge against her or anything. It was an accident. Yeah, it was an accident, and that's just what it was.
And you mentioned the outpatient care that you're gonna have to go through. What's that gonna look like for the next few months in terms of the day-to-day for you?
So I think it's 3 days a week. They have me scheduled to show up, and I just stay there for like a couple hours. And we do some like mental things just to make sure my brain's all good. We're gonna do some stuff with my eye because my eye's messed up. And they have me do like visual training and just to make sure that I can still see okay, which I can.
So he'll go 3 days a week
Yep.
for a big chunk of time, and they call it like
Yep.
day rehab.
Yep.
And he'll work on pretty much all the same things he was working on there, just in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
And Alan, we haven't really asked you much. What are your thoughts? He's finally back home, out of the hospital.
I'm just happy to see him out of the hospital. It was pretty rough seeing him at first, right after the accident. And it's just good to see him doing so well.
And Melissa, you know, what would you say to those first responders and, you know, and those people that didn't give up on your son?
There's really not enough words to describe how we feel about what they did, especially the off-duty police officer. She wasn't on duty, and she still went to him, and I'm sure that she feels like that is her call to duty, even when she's not on duty, and I just thank her from the bottom of my heart. I don't know if she's a mom, but she definitely contributed to making sure that he could come home.
And the fact that he's home on Mother's Day.
I know, it's really the best Mother's Day present I could get, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we are very happy. Yeah.
So it was my understanding that you've also survived through cancer.
Yes.
John. So tell me how that experience has helped you out through this.
Oh yeah, it definitely saved me from some trauma, that's for sure. I mean, being in a hospital is just, I just remember my first memory, I just woke up and I was like laying there in a bed, in an environment that was clearly a hospital. And I think having been to a hospital so many times when I had cancer saved me this time from probably just crying as soon as I woke up because I had no idea what was going on. I had to ask my mom what happened and why I was there. Yeah, it just sort of reinforced my brain. That's kind of all I did.
What kind of cancer did you have before?
It was Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow, and how far that progressed? I mean,
I had hit stage. I was like late stage 2 when we first kind of caught it, and then it took like
He went through 8 months of
it
treatment.
was like 8 months of treatment.
8 months
Yeah.
of treatment?
Mhm.
Wow, some tough guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you been able to piece why you know, why you've been able to survive 2 of these?
Luck. I could not tell you. It's I mean I'm very happy that both of those things happened the way they did. Because I healed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I healed pretty quickly from the cancer. 8 months for Hodgkin's lymphoma. I think that's a really good timeline. And then this, I mean, a month, and then I get to go home and just do some therapy, and my legs still work. That's great. I feel like I have a lot of luck, and then the people who cared for me as well. I mean, a lot of very smart people doing very good work.
Yeah.
Just
The
to
doctors
save
and
me.
nurses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the doctors and nurses both times.
I think we think that he's just got stuff to do in the world. He's gonna do big things, and that's why he survived everything that he survived. Is he still got stuff to do?
And you mentioned earlier about treating this kind of as a call to action for people to maybe be a little bit more aware on the roads, especially when you're around motorcyclists. Could you maybe touch on that just a little bit, especially with him being out of the hospital now?
Yeah, so this could happen to any motorcyclist out there, and I, when we first started talking about this ride home, we were talking about wanting to bring more awareness to the community in general about how, bikes are there. It is bike season, and there are people getting hit on a regular basis. There are people dying, and these people on these bikes are people's sons. They're people's, spouses, they're people's daughters, and we have to share the road with everyone, and all it takes is just a few more seconds. Look a little bit longer. Look twice. Look 3 times, and make sure the road really is clear before you go, and share the road with everyone out there.